Welcome back to the Alta California Model Railway in HO scale. It's a warm spring day in 1968 and the little town is about to experience some drastic improvements. After putting in the side fence and making sure all the mainline track was weathered properly, I set to work. The town itself comprises the right third of the layout. It's home to the famous photo curve as seen in many pictures here and on the Interurban Era Instagram. It's bordered by an estuary on one side and the electric car barn on the other. Like many towns in the region, a plaza is at its heart. A well-worn Catholic church overlooks the plaza. A variety of essential local businesses overlook the plaza as well. This includes a bakery, a grocery, a bar, a school, and a butchery. A majority of these buildings have been scratch-built by myself out of styrene plastic. The church and the school are a kit offered by an obscure company called Anderson Model Kits. Sadly, they're out of business, but you might be able to find some kits online. There's even a heavily modified Woodland Scenics kit tucked in there as well. From a historical perspective, this city roughly follows the law of the Indies towns that were common throughout the Spanish Empire in its colonial era. The church faces directly east, as many Catholic churches do. The plaza is a gathering space for all sorts of events important to the lives of the townspeople. The original main line for the railroad was built by the Sonoran Railway in 1870. Later on, the Alta California bought the Sonoran Railway. It cruises right by the church, as it still does today, but now it's owned by the Interurban line. In the mid-1920s, the Alta California decided to purchase a swath of land for its modernization program. This meant double-tracking their main line with broader, super-elevated curves. This necessitated the demolition of a few structures in the little town to make for the right-of-way. This will eventually be depicted on the layout with remnants of foundations and other clues that buildings were demolished to make way for the railroad. The most noticeable clues are the severed local roads, one connecting the church with points off the layout, and the other that used to be the main road into town that aligns perfectly with the front steps of the church. When the main line was built, they wanted to reduce the danger of grade crossing accidents, so they closed a bunch of roads and rerouted the main street over one block to better mesh with the railroad and serve the town better. The new main road is also now the state highway. It will eventually have a modern gas station along it once I finish scratch building it. I love including environmental storytelling in my modeling, especially tales about historical urban fabric. The most important progress I made throughout the last month or so was adding scenery in and around the town. Inside the loop of track, I added layers of sculptamold to bring the structures up to proper height. I ended up using black foam board for the main roads. I then painted them up using AK Interactive asphalt texture mix and then let them dry. Later, I sand them down to look worn. There's still more to do here. The bakery and grocery store building is directly based off of a prototype in Benjamin Hill, Sonora. The bar is inspired by one in Guaymas. It's of a Georgian style built in the 1850s. When I'm done with it, it will have a full interior and a lively party going on inside, fully lit with micro-LEDs. A fun detail I wanted to include is the cemetery and gardens adjacent to the church. This was very commonly done throughout the West, so I wanted to make it as realistic as possible. There's a little statue of a saint done out of marble. There's little stepping stones that are made from little bits of styrene. All the new palm trees are from the amusingly named We Honest seller on eBay. I have to admit, they are indeed honest. After the sculptamold dried, I used my special tile grout and dirt mixture, applying it with full-strength glue and then spray bottling it with water and dish detergent to activate the tile grout. I then came in with static grass applicator and some rocks to truly bring it to life. While I was working on the town, I also finished up the first and most important locomotive to really capture that Mexican look, an NDM RS-1. You can see how I built that in the companion video linked below. There's a lot more groundwork going on as well with the layout. Some incredible things came in the mail in the last month, which I'm very excited to show you. Based on your poll, I went and purchased the rolling lift bridge from Custom Model Railroads in Baltimore. I will probably produce a video on how difficult or easy it ends up being to build. I'm also planning out the main station area with its modernist depot. Not to mention the large brewery that is adjacent to the depot. You'll want to stay tuned to see how those take shape. I'm especially excited that the Tillig tram track arrived, and it not only looks spectacular, it runs marvelously as well. I would strongly recommend it to anybody who wants to do street running, or tram, interurban, or modern streetcar layouts in HO scale. I also had multiple friends come over with their motive power to come run on the Alta as well in the last few weeks, including some true gems. The scale train's Big Blow turbine and companion GP30s, the Chesapeake and Ohio Hudson, and a Pennsylvania Railroad DD-1 electric locomotive. It's always fun to see the delight on my friends' faces when they have a nice place to run their trains. This layout is primarily built for two reasons: to nurture friendships, and the layout itself is truly built to shine photographically. This has been Inner Urban Era, and I really look forward to seeing you in the comments on Patreon and Instagram. Of course, do all the classic video things like, comment, subscribe, and for patrons, you'll be able to see behind the scenes of the next two client project layouts I'm currently working on. One is a Conrail layout set in 1985 in upstate New York, and the other is a beautiful narrow gauge layout set in Colorado in the 1930s. Now, let's kick back and watch some trains run.